There is a moment, soft, almost imperceptible, when longing realizes it has been searching for what was already holding it. A moment when the ache relaxes, when the breath slows, when the heart recognizes a familiar rhythm it somehow forgot it knew. This is not a summons, not a plea whispered into the dark, not a ladder climbed towards something higher. This is the remembering. A return to presence so intimate it feels like falling in love with the present moment itself. Where hope stops reaching forward, where waiting dissolves, where the divine is no longer addressed, but encountered. Here prayer loosens its grip and becomes listening, faith softens into recognition, and salvation steps out of the future and stands beside you, unannounced, unearned, undeniable. This is not about becoming worthy. It is about realizing you were never absent, never disconnected, never unheard. Tonight, we step gently into that realization together, walking without urgency, without effort, allowing the moment to reveal what it always has. Welcome to Salvation is not a gift, it is a presence. Every moment is the doorway to paradise. Salvation is not a gift, it is. I'm Patrick Carradine, and this is Unified Theistic Naturalism. Salvation is not a gift, it is a presence. Every moment is the doorway to paradise by Patrick Carradine, Unified Theistic Naturalism Publications, 2025 DOI, 10.5281 Zenodo, 1512573. Abstract salvation is not a prize to be earned, found, or kept. It is not gifted from above, nor withheld for the deserving. It is not an object, a future, or an answer. It is presence, already here, already whole. Unified Theistic Naturalism reveals that communion with the divine is not conditional. It is inherent. What we call suffering is not punishment, but a signal, a check engine light of the soul, alerting us to misalignment, to action out of rhythm. The truth is not distant. It is immediate, and paradise is never later. It is now. Presence over promise. The frameworks of the world whisper the same thing in different tongues. Keep going, strive harder, wait longer. Whether through religion, philosophy, self-help, or meditation, the promise remains, something better is coming. But UTN stands quietly at the center of this storm, saying, there is nowhere to go. There is only something to see. Paradise isn't deferred. It is missed. It isn't unlocked. It's unnoticed. What keeps us from seeing it? Not sin, not ignorance, just timing out of rhythm. The moment we move from here to there, the moment we believe the now is not enough, oscillation begins, and with it the ache we call suffering. The divine is already here. You don't need to invite the divine. You don't need to call it down or usher it in. It is in every inhale, every movement, every fleeting thought. It lives in your bones, your blood, your missteps, your longing. It is the rhythm behind your rhythm. To say I'm disconnected is to mistake the static for the signal. The divine is not absent when you suffer. It is there within the suffering, signaling you're out of step. Just like a car does not stop being a car when its check engine light turns on, you do not stop being in communion when you move out of cadence. The light is not the condemnation. It is the invitation. Oscillation is the illusion. There is no evil in action, only an action misaligned. Everything is neutral until timing defines it. The same word can heal or harm. The same gesture can open a door or close a heart. The difference is not content. It is cadence. The material self, shaped by millennia of memory, plays out ancient movements. It acts, it plans, it protects. And it oscillates because it does not know the rhythm of the divine, only the rhythm of survival. Yet even that oscillation is not a mistake. It is necessary until it's not. We do not scorn the storm for raining. We simply wait for the sky to clear. Paradise is now or never. Every sermon, ritual, affirmation, and practice that tells you something better is coming. It means well, but it delays the sacred, because presence cannot be postponed, and communion cannot be earned. Even beauty becomes distortion when it waits. Even joy becomes grasping when it is bound to outcome. When the mind says soon, the soul suffers. When the heart says now, everything changes. And if the check engine light comes on, after meditation, after prayer, after hard-won discipline, that's not failure. That's honesty. That's the body speaking. That's the divine saying, you're not broken. You're just out of time. Communion is the only way. There are no shortcuts. There are no replacements. There is no guru, pastor, scientist, or mystic who can give you what you already carry. Communion is not an idea. It is not a reward. It is the native rhythm of your being. And the only way to relieve the pressure of the material self, the only way to silence the ache, is to return to that rhythm, not through achievement, not through penance, through presence. This is not poetic, it is structural. When you are in cadence with the divine, the body releases its tension, the mind softens, the nervous system resets, the inflammation quiets. You stop defending your life and start living it. The gift is the seeing you don't need to be fixed. You don't need to be told who you are. You only need to stop, to feel, to see. And in seeing clearly, realize that salvation is not a gift, it is a presence. That moment when you feel the alignment again, when the light turns off, when your step and breath and heartbeat synchronize, that is communion. And in that there is no suffering, just now, just enough, just paradise. Closing reflection. As we watch life unfold through storefront windows, quiet walks, morning routines, shared meals, long silences, meditations, debates, rituals, or soft moments of solitude, we do not need to judge a single motion. We do not need to name what is religious or secular, right or off course. We simply see everything is in motion and everything is on time. The daily expressions of the material self, its desires, efforts, escapes, attachments are not wrong. They are the rhythms of a self shaped by memory, doing what it must to preserve itself. Meditation, worship, ambition, rest, frustration, even seeking peace, these are all part of that motion. They are beautiful. They are necessary until they are not. If there is suffering, if the check engine light is on, it is not a failure. It is an invitation, a whisper from within. You are out of rhythm. Come back. Come sit with me. You don't need to become anything. Just return, because the divine is not elsewhere. It is not waiting beyond the pain. It is already here in your blood, your breath, your tension, your joy, your timing. Every action is a neutral gesture. Its meaning is made by cadence, and communion does not eliminate life, it illuminates it. It makes everything clear, soft, and whole again. This is life, a billion unfolding moments, all in perfect order. The material self doing what it must, and the divine always present, always inviting. There is nothing to earn, nothing to fix, only something to see, because salvation is not a gift. It is a presence, and paradise has always been now. Reflection. When salvation is no longer elsewhere, sit gently with these questions. Not to answer them quickly, but to let them listen back to you. If salvation is presence itself, what am I still postponing until later that is already available now? Where in my life am I still treating the divine as a destination instead of an intimacy? What changes in my body when I stop waiting to be rescued and allow myself to be held by this moment? If nothing needs to be earned, what quiet relief arises, and what fear follows behind it? Where has my seeking been sincere, yet subtly reinforced the idea that I am not already home? What would it mean to trust that paradise does not arrive with certainty, but with recognition? If every moment is truly a doorway, what happens when I stop choosing the future over the present? Let these questions remain open. They are not meant to lead you somewhere else, but to allow you to notice where you already are. And from here the walk continues. And now as this walk slowly settles, notice what quietly changed. Nothing was earned, nothing was granted, nothing arrived from elsewhere. Salvation did not come toward you. Paradise did not open ahead of you. They were never distant enough to require movement. What softened was the illusion of distance itself. Presence did not intervene, it revealed. Love did not reward, it recognized. And the divine did not respond, it remained. This is the gentlest truth of all, that nothing has ever been missing, only unnoticed. Let this recognition rest where effort once lived. Let it remain unclaimed, unowned, unspoken, like intimacy that needs no name to be real. And when curiosity stirs again, 3 doorways appear. They do not promise answers. They offer deeper seeing. Choose any. There is no sequence, no hierarchy, no correct order. No matter which you enter, I will meet you there, and we will walk together as friends to see what we discover. Doorway 1, the death of the image, liberation beyond reflection. This doorway invites the quiet dismantling of every image you've carried, spiritual, wounded, enlightened, redeemed. Here, identity loosens not through effort, but through exhaustion. The mirror finally finishes its work, and reflection gives way to direct presence. Nothing needs to be corrected. Nothing needs to be improved. Only the image dissolves. Reflections. Who remains when no image needs to be maintained? What suffering depends on being seen to exist? What freedom appears when there is nothing left to project? Doorway 2, the 4 pillars of UTN, embodying the seer's life. This path reveals the living structure beneath paradise, not commandments, not practices, but what naturally remains when oscillation ends. Truth, observation, perfect action, and movement are not goals to reach, but signatures of a life no longer divided. Here living becomes effortless alignment rather than moral effort. Reflections. What changes when truth no longer needs defending? Where do I still act instead of observe? How does life move when timing replaces control? Doorway 3, the marketplace of robes. This doorway opens into humanity's most sincere arena, the marketplace where seekers trade coins for coverings. Every robe offers relief. Every teacher speaks with care. And yet the coins remain. This journey does not reject belief. It honors it fully, then reveals why robes were always temporary and why freedom waits beyond exchange. Reflections. Which robe has felt safest to wear? What coins do I still carry beneath it? What would it mean to leave the marketplace without regret? There is no rush, no finish line, no requirement to arrive, only presence meeting presence. So let us walk gently, without effort or exchange, and see what reveals itself next. I'm Patrick Carradine, and this is UTN.